It was an absolute goal fest on match day 4. Let's go. So match day 4 saw the introduction of the Germans and the Dutch, as they both kicked off their campaigns with different performances. Let's get stuck straight into it with Germany versus Curucao. Now, obviously, we always knew this wasn't going to be much of a test for Germany, but 6 different goal scorers. They came at the match without any injuries, got the 3 points, got a lot of confidence up. Germany done everything that was required of them. It was really nice to see the Curucao supporters enjoying themselves, just seeing seas of blue shirt in the crowd, and they got their defining moment with that goal, and you could see exactly what it meant to every single player. You saw what it meant to Advocate on the sidelines, and you saw what it meant to the crowd. It was an unbelievable moment, one that they probably never thought they were ever going to be able to get and to experience. And that's what this World Cup is throwing up. It's throwing up chances for other teams who may not have been able to qualify previously with the smaller format. But then also at the same time, it's going to throw up matches like this that are pretty much mute matches. Everyone knew Germany was going to win. It looks like a great deal on both sides. Everyone done their job. Then we get stuck onto Netherlands versus Japan. Now, this was a match I was actually really looking forward to. The first half was absolutely fucking dismal. I was really disappointed in Japan just coming and sitting back, putting 10, 11 men behind the ball and basically just parking the bus. I know they've lost some of their attacking flair through to injuries, but I thought that they might have been a little bit more active, a little bit more attacking than they were, but they just kind of sat back. And this was my initial worry with Netherlands. If a team sits in against them, do they have the creativity? Do they have the attacking flair to break it down? And on this evidence, for large parts of the game, it was no. They eventually got a goal, at the opening goal with Van Dijk, which was a header, which obviously came from from the aftermaths of a set piece. And I just think that's going to be Netherlands' Achilles heel in this tournament. They're 3 times losing finalists. Will this be the year? I don't think so. Not based on this performance anyway. Much better second half. Obviously, both teams scored twice. Japan got that equalising goal, which I think was fairly deserved. I'm really hoping to see more as we go through the tournament, because I just think that Japan are better than that, what they showed in that first half. And it would be interesting to see how Netherlands try to evolve their attack as they face harder teams. Next, we have Ivory Coast versus Ecuador. I think Ivory Coast and Ecuador's everyone's kind of like dark horses, almost. You know, obviously there's people talking about Ghana, there's people talking about Norway, people talking about Turkey, Uruguay. But I think everyone quietly feels that Ivory Coast and Ecuador, no pushovers, especially Ecuador, that spine to their team of Pacho, who had coming off the back of an unbelievable season for PSG. Then you've got the left back Hanketia from Arsenal coming off a title-winning season. Then you've got Moises Caicedo. We know exactly what he's about. It was a good match between 2 evenly matched teams. 2 things that I was really impressed with is Yan Diomande. Oh my God, this guy is just relentless, and it's refreshing to see. In an age of where wingers are almost encouraged to turn back and pass back and retain possession, and are scared of going constantly at their opposing defender, Yan Diomande don't give a shit. He just keeps going, and eventually he knows it's going to pay off. Ecuador wasted a couple of chances. The crossbar was clearly cursed, as it was hit 3 times, 2 by Ecuador and then once in the second half by Ivory Coast. And then Amad Diallo come on to score the winner, and it was deserved. I wouldn't have had a problem with either team winning this match. It was really good to see positive, good football between the 2, well structured, well set up teams. And it'll be interesting to see what they can and how they can go on forming the rest of their matches. And then the last match of match day 4 was, of course, Sweden versus Tunisia, which in my eyes was a much more one-sided match than I ever foresee coming. Gyökeres and Isak just absolutely ran that Tunisian team ragged. It looked so good. Gyökeres constantly dropping back and then holding up the ball and then laying it off to Isak, and that's obviously how Isak's first goal came about. And I just think for every way that we looked at Sweden during their qualifying campaign, which was truly fucking terrible. And obviously Graham Potter coming off the back of a poor stint at Chelsea and then an equally poor stint at West Ham. And then we saw him take over at Sweden and it just looked like it was going to follow suit. And I think many people were surprised that he even managed to keep his job coming into the World Cup. They look good. Sweden looked very good. And I know it's only Tunisia, but I thought Tunisia would be probably a bit more of a harder task than shown. Maybe, that the goals just maybe took them off their game plan or somewhat. But I really like the look of Sweden. And in Gyökeres and Isak, they've got a perfect foil for each other, I think. I think it's brilliant. Isak can run beyond the defenders. Gyökeres is great at holding up the ball and laying it off, and then himself even, getting involved in the play in the 18-yard box. And it'll be good to see as they face tougher tests how this Sweden team actually get on. As ever, guys, if you're liking the content, please do subscribe and press the little bell notification. We'll be back for Matchday 5 review, which sees the introduction, hopefully, of the winners. That is Spain, Espanyol versus Cape Verde.